How'd you get in here? Oh, just kidding. Hi, I'm Eyeball John, and welcome to Eyeball John's Custom Corner. In this video, I'd like to go over the basic fiberglass restorations and the products that I use to do the restorations. I know what you're saying. Who is this guy, and why should we listen to him? Well, is that what you said? No.
What? I said nothing.
So, I've been doing restorations and fiberglass fabrication for over 40 years now. And obviously you don't know who I am, but most likely if you're into classic Corvettes, you know my work. My work has been in a lot of publications and online, and you've seen it in a lot of the high dollar auctions out there. And so I figured it's time to show you what I've done over the years. Cars like this one. Now, I'm only taking credit for the body and paintwork you see on these cars. These are cars that I've done over my career. Nevertheless, let's get started and show you how to do basic repair. This is going to be a long video, but don't touch that fast forward because there's a lot of information I'm going to be covering. And if you miss something, well, then you're just going to have to rewind it and go back again. Okay, so let's get started. Basically, in doing restoration work, if you're into NCRS or you're doing Corvettes, there's pretty much only one glass that I use, and that's matte strand. What I'm going to be showing you can be used on anything. A boat, cars, whatever is fiberglass, you can use these techniques. Okay. I buy my fiberglass in larger rolls. You can get them in all different sizes, all different weights. I use 3/4 ounce matte, which is very flexible, is thin, and soaks up the resin very fast. And that's what you want in a good repair, is for the resin to soak into the matte. Now, I'm not going to get too technical. I mean, you can look online on how fiberglass is made and the chemical reactions and stuff like that, but I'm not really going to get into that. Alright, so then there's also cloth, which it's a woven cloth pretty much. I never use it in fiberglass repairs on a Corvette because when it shrinks up, the pattern always comes through, so I don't use this. When I make custom parts, I'll use this as a backing just to clean it up in the back so you don't see the matte. Okay. Now, there's also the resins. There's polyester resin is what you're going to be using. Okay. And I buy mine in 5-gallon pails because it's a lot cheaper. I mean, I'm sure you can get it in gallons or however you want to buy it. But the cheapest way for me is 5 gallons. You can buy 55 gallons, but I don't use it that fast. Okay, so polyester resin. It's a polyester product. It has wax in it. What the wax does is it hardens the top layer. If you've ever seen boat manufacturers, when you're making a large... Well, the camera starts rolling and my brain goes numb. I really do know what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can explain a little better. There's different weights of fiberglass you could buy. I use 3/4 ounce. There's also different lengths in rolls that you can get. I usually use matte strand. I don't use much cloth. The resin I buy is the 5 gallons that I use. It has the wax in it for hardening the top layer. Now, as far as mixing the resin, there's different formulas, but pretty much all the companies are the same. If you go online, you can see the charts that they use. You don't want the top layer to harden, because then you have to sand it. So it stays wet without the wax. You don't want that. You want it with the wax. Now, if you're buying it in a store-bought gallon, obviously the wax is going to be in it. Okay, so there's the polyester resin. And polyester resin takes and MEKP hardener. Okay, there's different ratios to mix it as far as the weather conditions, how hot it is. I recommend using the recommendations of each product. I always put a little bit more hardener in it just to speed up the repair. You don't want to put too much, or you can cook the repair, which is what you don't want to do. Okay, you don't want to have too much heat. Then there's also an SMC resin, which is also polyester based, but instead it takes the cream hardener. Okay, this is for SMC panels. Now, Corvettes up to 72 were regular polyester resin that you use to repair. After 72, the SMC is the resin that you need. Now, you could use SMC resin on any year Corvette and it'll work, but you can't use the regular polyester resin on 72 and after. You may think it might work, but once it hardens and you go to start sanding it, you'll see it pulling away from the SMC. It's a SMC sheet molded compound. Does not like regular polyester resin. Okay, so let me go over basically what you need is some brushes, cup, resin, gloves. You could use different rollers. There's many different kinds of rollers to take air out, but when you're using the 3/4 ounce mat, you can take out the bubbles with the brush. It's really not that hard. Like I said, there's all different shapes and sizes of rollers. There's another one I just picked up. I haven't got a chance to use yet. It's a bristle one. It's actually a almost like a hairbrush type of roller. It's supposed to take out the air bubbles. Basically, I use these more for when I'm making a part. And if it's a large part, sometimes it's easier to take out the bubbles, air bubbles, with rollers. Okay. There's also woven roving, which is a very heavy cloth. Never use it, but I do pull it out and I use the strands for repairs. That's what I use that for. And later on, I'll be showing another video on carbon fiber, but not in this one, but we'll be going over carbon fiber. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so here we have a door from a 59 Corvette, but it also fit 58 to 61 is the same door, and it has some damage from years ago that wasn't properly repaired, and it's got a lot of stress cracks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how I repair it. It also has a chunk of bottom of the inside of the door missing, which in another video I'll show you how to duplicate, make a mold from another door and make a piece for this bottom of this door. I don't throw anything out, and these are getting harder to find, so I fix everything that I can possibly can, because you never know when you're going to need it down the road. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, here's another look at the door. And as you can see, it's an old repair that wasn't properly done, and there's a lot of stress cracks, as you can see. All right, and let me also show you, if you spray some pre-cleaner, I showed you in another video. Now it's very easy to see the stress cracks. Okay, stress cracks will usually darken up, especially on the white glass. But you could also see it on the darker glass. Alright, so let me start grinding this and show you how to repair it. Alright, here you have our polyester resin. With the wax. Okay, like I said, I buy this in 5-gallon drums and empty it out. Alright. Now, as far as measurements, I do it by eye, but there is, with the MEKP hardener, I'm sure there's a formula for it that you can go online and look up. Okay, now what this does is start a chemical reaction with the resin. It has a dries by heat, thermal reaction. You can see it changing colors. Now, what I should have done first is actually, you don't have to do it for this. A lot of times, if you're going to see the repair and you're doing something for NCRS, you want to tint the resin if you're going to see it. This is going to get painted, so you're really not going to see it. You don't have to buy tints. They're not really that expensive, but you don't need it. Actually, this thing is almost full, and I've had it for years. But you don't need to buy it. What you can do is just grab, doesn't have to be Krylon, it could be any brand. This was beige or ivory. Just give it a little shake. And this is all it needs. And that's it. Now, even though this resin is blue and red, I've seen many different colors, it usually dries to a yellowish finish. But just a little spritz of the paint will give it a more of a yellow finish. Okay, so let me just
Okay, the brain went numb again. Just a note to take plastic off of the brush before you use it.
get this set over here. Alright, what you do is just brush the resin onto your piece.
This video making is harder than it seems. After about a month of trying to put this video together, the original one was deleted when I uploaded it. So now I try to piece it together, and this is what I came up with. But sorry for the giant nose that's peeking through in this cycle.
Just work the resin into the mat. Work out any air bubbles, which you're really not going to get with this. I go a little overlap, doesn't matter. It's going to be sanded. Or you can wait until just before it hardens. The repair is still called in a green state. You could just take a razor blade and slice it off. Now, I usually build up the area more than is needed. Put a little extra glass, make it a little higher, because I don't use any filler, very little filler, if that, and never put filler on the edge of a repair, because eventually it's going to crack off. But 99% of the repair I do in fiberglass. It makes it a lot stronger. You don't have to worry about shrinking rates. Bondo will shrink differently than fiberglass. And here you can see how easy the resin melts right into the glass. Alright, what I did was grab another piece of glass. I'm just going to rip the ends now. I'd rather do it this way. This way there's no sharp edge, which, does it make a difference? Doesn't, but this is how I like to do it. I like feathering the edges. Like I said, it makes it a little easier to sand. And if you're doing this repair on an area where it's going to be seen, as far as not being painted, an edge like this, you can see it, an edge like that, feathered edge, will easily blend into the original fiberglass. Okay. Now, let me just okay, that's a little better. I like that better. All right. Let's mix up a little bit more glass resin. Once again, that's all it takes. Alright. Give it a good mix. Make sure that the hardener is in there and mix thoroughly. You can see it changing colors and it's ready. Okay. Alright, now the same procedure on this side. Taping on my phone. But this is my third video, and I mean, so far so good. I got some good response from the first two, especially the grinding of the metal on my 47 Chevy pickup. Not only do Corvette restorations, but I do a lot of custom work. I do a lot of fabrication, which I'll be showing in other videos coming up. All right, that's that. All right, one last thing to show you on this as far as repair. Now, these doors have a cove that is sunken in, okay? And this is the high point where the molding sits. So over here, where there's some cracks, over here with some cracks in this area, I ground them down. Now, a lot of times, doing fiberglass work on a corner or on a point is a pain in the butt. It sometimes glass, unless you want to put bigger pieces and then do, you know, sand one way, sand the other. But let me show you a little trick that I learned years ago from a friend of mine, Gene the Fiberglass Machine. I was watching him doing fiberglass work, and I saw him making these little things. I don't know what he called them. I call them bow ties. What I do is, you can see the glass. What I do is just pull at it, try to get the strands going all in one direction. Alright. And then roll them together, pull, pull. Alright. Now, I just grab a piece You can see this roll between my fingers. And that's what I made, this little piece. Okay, this comes in handy. Like I said, when you're doing edges or a high point, crown. Alright. Let me make a few of these and then I'll show you how to put them on. Okay, here we have my bow ties all made. So, I still got some resin mixed up here. It's still good. What I'm going to do is just put some on here. Oh, is this on the hot? Yeah, it's still good. Grab one. Work it in. Okay, you don't want to see any white. That means that the resin did not soak into the glass. And what I'm doing is putting it right on the high point of the repair. Work it in, make sure that there's no white. That means the resin did not soak in. Keep working it in with the brush. This is starting to harden a little bit, but we should be able to get through the repair. Alright, I hope you're still with me on this video. I know it's long, but there's a lot to cover. And I'm sure I missed something. So if you have any questions, just make a comment, let me know. I'll get back to you. Alright, I don't know if this is picking it up, but you can see that I'm working the glass into the high point of the cove. Get out of there. It's probably hard to tell with the camera, but I can see that the areas are built up high enough where I'll be able to sand it smooth and come back with that point. Alright. I think we got it. So here's the door. It's all finished, all sanded. I didn't go into the sanding process. I'll show that in another video. But you can see that the damage was repaired. And the stress cracks are all gone. And the color with the tinting is very close to the original. Here's the area I built up on the crown with the bow ties, as I like to call them. So the area. And if you could run your hand over the repair, you would see that it needs no filler. I built it up with all glass. So actually, you can just go over this with a polyester primer, block it down, and you'd be good to go. And that's it. Okay, so there you have it. That's the end of the third video that I made. I hope you enjoyed it. What's that? I hope there was enough information for you. If you have any questions of anything that I went over, just leave a comment and get in contact with me. I'll try to answer your questions. In upcoming videos, I'm going to be showing you also in fiberglass fabrication, how to make a mold. This actually is the mold that I made from an original piece, and this is the piece that I pulled from it. This is for a front lower roll pan for my 47 Chevy pickup that I made. We'll be going over how to do that, how to make original plugs, and how to make molds. Also, the next video I'm going to be doing is shifter knob fabrication. I'm going to be going over the knobs that I've made over the years and how to make molds. And this is how it originally started. This is actually how I got my name, Eyeball John, making this sculpture with Ed Big Daddy Roth. He's the one that gave me the name, but that's in the next episode. So please hit that like button, thumbs up, and subscribe, and keep tuned because there's a lot more to come, a lot more videos, and a lot more information to share. And I hope you enjoy. Until next time. If you have any questions, like I said, just please, yeah, you in front, you have a question? Please.
E.T. phone home.
Yes. Oh, the phone? It's on the side. Yeah. So if you have any questions, what? Yeah. It better not be a long distance call. Okay. Thanks. All right. Until next time, Eyeball John signing off.